Distinguished guests, please make your way to your seats. Dinner will begin shortly. Thank you.
Wesley Snipes. The actor was found guilty of 3 misdemeanor charges for failing to file his federal taxes 5 years in a row between 1999 and 2004. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison and fined $5 million for willfully failing to file nearly $40 million worth of past tax returns. He served his time in federal prison between 2010 and 2013. Martha Stewart. The American entrepreneur and domestic lifestyle innovator failed to pay taxes on her New York home to the sum of $220,000. As she was being questioned by the federal authorities, Stewart was found guilty of lying to them. In March 2004, she was convicted of felony charges of conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and lying to federal investigators. She spent 5 months in jail, followed by 5 months of home confinement on her 153-acre estate. She was also ordered to pay $220,000 in back tax. Now on to Ja Rule. In March 2011, the rapper pled guilty to submitting false tax returns and agreed to pay over $1 million in back taxes and penalties. He was sentenced to 28 months in prison and further sentenced to a year of supervised release. Lauryn Hill. According to the prosecution, the Grammy Award-winning singer-rapper neglected to declare $2.3 million in earnings over a 5-year period and owed the IRS nearly $1 million. Her initial 1-year sentence was then cut to 3 months in 2013 after she settled her state and federal taxes and penalties by paying back $970,000 she owed. She served her sentence at a minimum security prison where she was expected to work in the kitchen and gardens and sleep in a dormitory. After leaving prison, she remained under home confinement for 3 additional months, followed by 9 months of parole supervision. The What's Love rapper was initially charged with failing to submit income tax returns on more than $3.3 million of income between 2007 and 2010. However, in 2013, he pled guilty and accepted a plea deal, so charges were dropped for failing to file for 2 of the 4 years. The rapper was granted leniency by the judge in exchange for his charitable works, which included giving computers to nearby schools, and for his payment of $718,000 in unpaid taxes prior to his sentence. He ended up receiving a 4-month sentence and a $15,000 fine, followed by a 1-year supervised.
The president's son, Hunter Biden, has agreed to a federal plea deal that will likely mean he will not have to go to prison. According to a court filing made public Tuesday by the Justice Department, Biden will plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax charges. The agreement will also spare him prosecution on a felony charge of illegally possessing a firearm. Catherine Herridge has more from Washington.
As part of the Hunter Biden plea agreement, 3 charges were filed in a Delaware court. 2 misdemeanor counts of willful failure to pay federal income tax on annual earnings in excess of $1.5 million. A 3rd count, possession of a handgun by a drug user, would be dismissed if Biden remains drug-free and commits no additional crimes during a specified time period. A source familiar with the term said Biden's legal team expects probation, not jail time, though final approval rests with the judge.
My understanding is that we're done.
Traveling in California, President Biden was asked about the news.
I'm very proud of my son.
Hunter Biden spoke about the federal investigation on CBS Sunday Morning.
I'm cooperating completely, and I am absolutely certain, 100% certain, that at the end of the investigation, that I will be cleared.
Gene Rossi, a former Justice Department official who handled tax cases, told CBS News the failure to pay tax on more than $3 million, even though now repaid, is a serious violation.
If this were Hunter Smith instead of Hunter Biden, I think you would have a very much
distinguished guests, please make your way to your seats. Dinner will begin shortly. Thank you.